What's up, everybody? My name is Braden, and today we're going to talk about the best camera I think you can get for $1,300. All right, so this camera is honestly just extremely underrated. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this camera. I own the version higher, and people honestly always think it just costs way more than it does. This camera can shoot 4K at 50 frames per second in 10-bit at RAW. It shoots 1080p 10-bit at ProRes. It also comes with an editing program, and it has a lot of other cool features like recording straight into a hard drive. That is one of my favorite things ever. I just think it's so cool. All right, so let the suspense be over. This camera is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Yes, it is a mouthful. I remember when I was looking on the market for upgrading my camera from just my entry-level DSLR, I had a T5i. I was looking a lot at Canon cameras. I wanted a full-frame camera, and I just never heard anyone talk about this camera, and I have no idea why. All right, so there are some downsides to the camera, but before we get into that, I want to emphasize I messed up. It's actually 4K 12-bit, which is insane. This 12-bit is just, there's so much you can do with that. There's also 13 and a half, I believe, stops of dynamic range, which is insane. It's just insane. Okay, so the drawbacks are, though, that it is not a full frame camera. In fact, it's like a 4/3 sensor, micro 4/3, or however you say that sensor, it's that one. The 6K version's a Super 35 sensor. I know that really scares people away. They're like, I really want a full frame camera. But honestly, the 4K footage is just, it's unbelievable. This isn't an exact review of just breaking down the camera. I just really don't know why more people aren't talking about these cameras. Blackmagic makes really amazing cameras at a really affordable price for people. And these are cinema cameras. They're entry-level cinema cameras, so you can't take pictures on them. It's only video. Now, on the 4K, you can record into I think there's 2 slots of SD cards. The 6K is an SD card slot and a CFast card. But again, my favorite part is I can just record straight into a hard drive. So there's the Samsung T5 SSD hard drives you can record straight into. And honestly, I think the other day I recorded 160 gigs worth of footage, and I threw that onto my computer and it went over in like a minute or two. You know, it's super fast, so if you do need to dump the footage, it's just wicked fast, or you can just work straight off the hard drive. Now, one way to avoid the crop and the problems with the micro 4/3 sensor is you can put speed boosters on the 4K. The 6K you can't, and you do get a little bit of crop, but honestly, I kind of like the crop. I know no one ever says that, but I have a 24-70, and my favorite wide angle is a 35 millimeter. So when I throw on my 24-70, it's a 35-105, and I just think these shots look unbelievable and amazing. I'm always just shocked by how good some of the footage looks on this camera, and people are always shocked when I tell them the price tag. Now, there's 2 other downsides that I get a lot from people that people get upset about. But all these things I feel are fixable, and they're really not that big of a deal. And the other one is battery life. The battery life is completely awful. For example, I have a Canon 6D Mark II, and I can run 2 batteries, and I could shoot a whole wedding on that all day. So I could go like 8 hours. Now I'm turning the camera off and on, but I can go a long time. On the Blackmagic, I had to buy an extra battery pack, and if you just completely left the camera on, it would go for about 3 hours. But when I'm turning it off and on, I made it like 3/4, almost the whole way of the wedding day, but I had to put in a couple batteries after. Now, the upside to this is it does take Canon batteries, so if you have Canon batteries, you can just flip those on in. Now, honestly, this really isn't that big of a deal because you can just buy other battery packs for this, and they'll work great. Like I said, I bought this extra battery pack in. It actually just clips on the bottom of my camera, and it will run for about 3 hours. You also can buy other battery packs and put them on the back of your camera, and it will run even longer. The only bad thing about that is you can't see the monitor, so you can buy an external monitor, but I don't know, it was more pricey, so I just didn't do it. All right, guys, let's pause. I'm gonna hurry and just take this camera outside. I'm just gonna show you a few shots and show off the dynamic range and the colors. And yeah, I'm just gonna go pause, and then we're gonna get right back to the video. All right, what's up, guys? So we're outside. I'm now on the shotgun mic, and we are on the Tokina 24 or 16-24, which is now a 24-35 on this camera. So I usually record with the LUT on when I'm doing YouTube videos, but for this, I'm just gonna be totally doing it raw just so you can see the dynamic range and just kind of what it looks like totally raw. So we're gonna be shooting in 1080p though. Yeah, here we go. Alright guys, so let me know what you guys thought of the shots. I know that they're not anything amazing. I just shot like 3 quick shots just to show you. I figure if you got the camera, took it out of the box, you just go around the house shooting, whatever. So got a quick shots. Want to show you the color grade, how the difference between the color. It's a 10-bit color. It's in ProRes, just so you can kind of see it raw and also see the dynamic range. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and let's get back to the video. All right, so we've talked about the sensor size, we've talked about the battery life, and the other issue people stray away from this camera is because it doesn't have autofocus. Now you can focus in with the camera, but while you're recording, it won't continually focus. Now honestly, this is the thing I was actually most worried about because I did come from Canon and they have great autofocus, but this honestly has not been an issue for me. I'm actually not bugged by this at all. There's ways to get around this. If someone's walking towards you, you either just follow them the same distance or you focus halfway and no one really can tell they're out of focus. You also can turn up your aperture a little bit. There's little things to get around this, and honestly, I just haven't found it really to be that big of a deal. Now, saying that, this camera really depends on what you're shooting. It's not for everyone. But in saying that, I think this camera is just so underrated. It is great for documentary, storytelling. If you're wanting to get into that stuff, if you're wanting to get into higher end commercial work, this is an amazing camera, and it is just comparable to really high-end cameras for what it can do. Now, if the sensor size does bother you and you wish you could go all the way up to 6K, you simply can just pay a couple like 700 extra bucks and you can get the 6K version, which is what I did. Honestly, almost every shoot I see someone look at my camera and they say, wow, that image looks awesome. And I agree. I think the Blackmagic cameras just produce an amazing image. I think it's up to what my videos can do. And I really think it's just an underrated camera. So I just thought, I had to make a video and talk about this because why aren't more people talking about this? And again, I know this camera's not for everyone, but I think it's an amazing camera for the price tag. I mean, you could buy the camera and start editing and all you had to do is pay $1,300. I personally haven't used the DaVinci Resolve yet, but I've heard amazing things about it, and it's awesome you just get this high-end program for free. So if you guys have more questions about it, feel free to let me know. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Have you guys looked into this camera at all? What have you guys thought about it? I think it's amazing. I have just loved it as I've bought the 6K version. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, that's it for me. If you guys like this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more awesome content. Have a great day.